I guess you could say when you were down at the owners GM meeting on Monday and throughout the week, it was like simmer was maybe as high. It didn't get that hot, but was there?
Just turned it on a little bit. It's kind of the start of the offseason where you don't necessarily expect a ton of stuff to get done down there in Orlando, but it is a jumping off point where GMs can talk to other teams, kind of see needs around the league, see who's available, see exactly what's out there, and kind of lay the groundwork a little bit for the winter meetings and for the rest of the postseason, or excuse me, the offseason. And the Yankees, like many other teams in the AL East, have a lot of work to do.
We have a lot of holes to fill, and so we're just going to have to explore every option that's available to us. We have an outfield in place, but you know, I think I need to explore. That's an area I can explore and improving as well. If Granderson accepted, I would have been excited and happy and would have been solved. But I have more pressing needs than outfield. I think I need to import 400 innings for the rotation, improve the bullpen. I think the left side of the infield, for various reasons, are question marks, whether it's recovering from the broken ankle in Derek or the controversy that's yet to be resolved with Alex. You know, offense, you know, this team needs to be improved offensively. So could I do that at the catching position? Second base is obviously a real strong interest in retaining, you know, probably the premier free agent on this class, Robbie Cano, and so, you know, we've got a lot of work ahead of us.
The injury issues you've had as a whole, is it harder to evaluate what you really need going into this next season?
We've talked a lot internally about health and how do we stay more healthy. And if you look at from 2009 through 2011, our DL days actually went down every single year, and then all of a sudden in 2012 they skyrocketed. And we had some carryover, guys that had Tommy John, that impacted us in 2013 as well. We feel good about the bullpen, we feel good about the position player group. We definitely can improve the position player group. The key is having enough, I think in hindsight, the depth of the rotation. We knew we were going to be thin. We felt that we had experienced starters that we could get through that. In hindsight, we needed to have a little more depth there because you know ultimately guys are going to go down. So you always want to improve the quality, but having more bodies that are viable candidates rather than relying on minor league free agents as your 6 and 7 starters, it's probably one of the big changes that we need to make, and I think we're in a position to do that.
When you look at 2014, what do you feel as though you guys need to keep in place? What do you need to do going into that next season?
You know, we've got a strong core returning. We think we'd like to add to it. We've got 4 free agents who played prominent roles on the team, and we've got an interest in all of them at some level, and we got to figure that out and consider alternatives. So we got work to do, as every team does. I think right now we're doing the same thing everyone else is doing, just trying to gather information and seeing what opportunities might be out there, or which ones to pursue.
In a sense, did it almost put more pressure on you, knowing you want to try to get back there again?
Well, I think we'll always try to look at it as you know, what's putting the organization in a stronger position. You know, we want to continue to try to make decisions that strengthen the organization, short and long term. We don't always do that. We make mistakes, but that's always the goal. So I don't know if there's any more pressure this year. There's always pressure in a place like Boston or New York. The standard is high, demand. You know, they're demanding markets and high expectations, as it should be. So we just want to work as hard as we can to meet those expectations.
When you talk about needs and you talk about the future, what do you look at as your biggest need this offseason?
I think, you know, first base is something we're going to have to address. Bullpen, a late inning reliever, someone that can get big outs, high leverage moments. You know, catcher, we're going to have to figure out what to do with Lobotone, and then rounding out our bench depending on, you know, where we end up with first baseman, whether he's right-handed or left-handed. But I think going into this winter, we probably have fewer spots to fill than we have in the past. Personally, I have a responsibility to do the best job I can in terms of putting the Rays in the best position to have success.
You made a big trade last year in December with Shields bringing Myers over. Obviously, you hope the best for Myers, but did you expect him to have the type of impact he had here?
You know, for us, it's so much more about the longevity in terms of what he's able to accomplish over, you know, a long period of time. But as far as assessing it, you know, a year later, obviously we're thrilled with the way that Myers progressed. And that said, you know, Jamie Shields did what Jamie Shields always does, and
chewed up innings at a very effective clip, and so, thus far it's worked out really well for both sides, which is obviously the goal when you go into making a deal of that magnitude.
And time will tell whether or not Will Myers will have continued success. He certainly started off with his bang his rookie campaign, but a lot of teams with a lot of things to do this offseason. You heard Toronto talking about depth in that starting rotation. They are getting guys back like a Drabek, who had Tommy John surgery. Of course, Jay Happ last year with the freak injury, spraining an MCL after taking a liner off the head there. So he's another guy that will be back. R.A. Dickey, an up-and-down season. So you think that team might be a little bit better. Coming into the season last year, they were the team that on paper looked oh so good and wound up being oh so bad. So that just goes to show you that the offseason moves don't always pay off, and you really don't know until you start playing some baseball.